Hey, Mocha family! I am back with my 12-year-old daughter, Anika, to do a Heart of Dakota end of the year curriculum review. And I thought it would be a good idea to have her here with me talking about what her experience was and what she thought about the books. Because I know that this is the time of year that a lot of people are trying to decide what to use for next year. And I've been getting a lot of comments on my old curriculum videos. So this is going to be a long video because I want to go through all of the books. So get you a snack or something. I don't, have time stamps or anything like that, but just work with me. All right. And so what grade are you in?
I am in 7th grade.
She's in 7th grade. And so this was our second year using Heart of Dakota. I'll leave a link up here for our end of the year review for the last one that we used. This one is Hearts for Him Through Time, Missions to Modern Marvels. So this is the guide. So this is the book that has what you do every day, day to day, and it's very decorated. You doodle a lot in here. But most importantly, she puts the date up here, and that's my attendance, how I track attendance for them. And so we're just going to go through the books and let you know how we're doing. Is Matthew C on here?
Yes, right here.
I just want to say off the bat that I did not use Heart of Dakota for English. I'm teaching an English class at an umbrella school situation, and so it's 7th grade that I'm teaching, and she just did 7th grade, so I decided to do the class with her. So I'll talk about what we did with that first. So we basically used Becca for grammar, Wordly Wise for vocabulary, and then we read a number of books: Red Wall,
Door in the Wall, King Arthur Tales, and Ink on His Fingers.
Ink on His Fingers. And she had a number of writing projects and artistic projects that she had to do to spur discussion and about the literature that we were doing. And so I would do the class with her one-on-one, and then I would go in and do the class with my class. And one time I was able to bring her into class, and she was able to participate in presentations that they had to do. So that worked really well for us. And for math, we use Matthew C. I have a video up where I reviewed Math Mammoth, which is what we started to use with her, and why I decided to change that. Did we do a video talking about how you felt about Math Mammoth? I feel like you were in the video talking about your frustrations with that. Or maybe I asked you a couple of questions you don't remember? Yeah, well, we decided that we wanted to go with something that would be a little bit less rigorous for her, since she is a little bit more cautious with math. Yeah. I won't say, but she's done really, really well with Matthew C. Where's your book? Let's see what level that is. Pre-algebra, you guys. And the way it works is there's a video lecture that comes with this curriculum, and she would watch the video lecture, and then after that, she would do exercises. Practice exercises, and then she would take the test. And she scored 90 or better on all of her tests, high 90s on all of her tests. So she was really able to grasp this really well. The only thing my only complaint with this is that I learned with her that more practice is better. I felt like there could have been even more practice sheets. I mean, for each concept, I would say, what is it? A through G?
A through F.
I see G on some of these.
That's honors.
That's honors. So it's A through F. So how many practice sheets is that? A, B, C, D, E, F.
Well, you have multiples you have multiple practice sheets for
6 sheets per
well, you
lesson.
Have 1, 2, 1, 2 for each lesson.
It's back and front. 6 sheets back and front for each lesson. And honestly, I think I would have benefited from even more than that, because there were some topics that you had a hard time grasping, and I felt like we could have used more practice sheets, and then I had to go on my own and try to generate practice sheets from resources online, which I was able to do. But since I'm already paying for this, it would be good to have the surplus of sheets, or at least some kind of reference to where I could get them. They have a really good website, so maybe if they didn't want to print them in the book, they could have more practice on the website. Maybe they do, but I didn't discover anything like that. So that's my only complaint with Matthew C. And sometimes with the recorded lessons, what did you complain about when the kids ask questions?
Well, when he asks the kids questions and then they answer the questions, they don't speak up loud enough, and he doesn't repeat what they say, so I don't hear the answer, and so I don't know what it is.
Right, because the lectures are recorded. Excuse me, I have allergy.
Bless you.
The lectures are recorded with a live class. Excuse me, I don't know how well this is gonna go with these allergies, but the lectures are recorded with a live class, and apparently the kids are not mic'd like he is, and so sometimes she had a hard time hearing their responses, and so he would make a good explanation, but she'd be confused about what he was talking about. So, you know, it would be, I wonder if anyone has given him that feedback, him meaning the owner of the curriculum before. That would probably improve his lecture. I'm going to put these things that we looked at on the floor. Okay. And so math was independent, and language arts was independent, and science, we started off with this science, the world of chemistry. What did you think of this?
I think this book was pretty fun. It was pretty basic, and after each lesson they give you questions that you have to write on a piece of paper, so you pretty much, after you read it, you got what you were learning, because you had to go back and look and see the questions and everything. So
right, and everything was going well with this, and it also comes with science kits that I also purchased that we were doing science experiments, and that was going well. But what ended up being a monkey wrench, this is another one of the books that comes with it, the elements. So yeah, this is chemistry.
This is the one that I had a problem with, this book.
What was your problem with this book?
Well, I didn't like how they wrote the book. It made me feel like, just like the way they did their sentences, it made me feel like, I don't know, like, it's kind of fake. It felt like
fake. What do you mean by fake?
Like they were overdoing it, kind of like what they were trying to say.
What do you mean by overdoing it? Like babyish?
Yeah.
Or like below your reading level? If an atom has only one electron in its outer shell, its chances of finding 7 more are pretty low. 1 or 2 maybe, but 7. The atom gives up its
No, this is an experiment thingy.
Oh, that's an experiment. All right. So I'm trying to see what you're talking about, because I wouldn't have said that. Are these all experiments? It's been a long, we stopped using this early. That's why I'm not that familiar with it. Well, I'll take your word for it, but personally, I don't see that this is babyish per se. But we stopped using this early on because I decided that I was doing anatomy and physiology with my youngest, Rayma, and you'd be peeking in on our lessons and everything, and that's with, what's the name of that company?
It's right here.
Oh, here it is. I was going to say Osborne, but it's not Osborne. Exploring Creation with Human Anatomy and Physiology. This is, what's the name of this? Apologia.
Oh, yeah.
This is Apologia. And you'd be peeking in. And so I was like, let me just combine this thing, because science was getting out of control. It was a big production of me helping you set up your chemistry stuff, and then later on trying to do stuff with Rayma. And so I said, let me combine this. And that's what we ended up doing. And it's actually been very enjoyable. We would do science once a week on Fridays, just a big, long science class where we would do the whole entire section, which is designed to be done over the course of the week. And it worked really well. At times, we got so busy that we weren't able to do it. So we're actually going to be finishing this up through the summer. And I don't think it'll feel laborious because we enjoyed it so much. So That's what we did for science. What did you think about the history?
This
Hold that book up.
This is Book of Great American Speeches for Young People. So this wasn't really history. This was kind of like it's called Worthy Words, where there's a bunch of famous speeches in here where you read and analyze the speech, and then you answer questions on the index card. So it's more like.
But these are famous historical figures.
Yeah.
So it is history. I mean,
yeah.
George Washington, Sojourner Truth, Frederick Douglass, Susan B. Anthony. These are Abraham Lincoln. These are historical figures.
Yeah.
I guess you're not thinking. You're thinking because you're looking at speeches, it's more like English, but
yeah.
It's still dealing with the thoughts of historical figures. So we thought this book was a good book. What about this one, Marie Curie?
Yeah, this was part of chemistry. I liked her story a lot. She was very like rebellious, kind of. Like, she found radium, and she didn't listen to anyone, and she had really bad diseases because of the radioactivity in like her experiments and stuff, and it was dangerous chemicals she was using. So, but she was cool though.
I say this is a winner because she read this at the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, she still knows what she read. You had a hard time with this book.
Oh yeah. Whatever
happened to Penny Candy?
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's just I don't feel like it's not really much of a simple book. It's like I feel like when I need more of an explanation, kind of. Like better examples for like what he's trying to
This is more
say.
like an economics book. Both my son and my daughter did this when they did what do you call that? When you learn how to manage your money and stuff. This was part of the reading for that. And so it does get into discussions about how systems work that I just think you lacked interest. It's not written at a difficult reading level, but she just wasn't all that interested at 12 in the subject matter. But I think this is a good book.
Yeah, and this is my new economics book. I like this better. This one better. I feel like the author gets right to the point with it.
Yeah, common sense business for kids.
Yeah, the author gets right to the point and doesn't like linger, I feel like.
What was this?
This is history. So it's like, it focuses on like characters in history and really focuses on like their life and stuff and their thoughts and everything. It's a lot of reading though. It gives a lot of reading.
But were you able to get it? Because I noticed throughout the year you would make comments about things you read, about, we would be having random conversations at home, just anywhere, and you would drop knowledge, and it would be from things you learned in the history class. So I think this was good for retention. What about this one? The Story of the World, History for the Classical Child, Volume 4, The Modern Age.
Yeah. So that other book is more about the characters. This one's more of like the overall view of the story. Yeah, I like this one a lot. This one works too because it's very easy to understand and stuff.
Lots of history books, you guys. This one is Great Events in American History.
So this one, it gives like the different things that happens in history, and I like it when it gives
from
like
1492, which is when Columbus discovers the New World, to 2001, September 11th. Attack on America.
Yeah, I like this one a lot, especially when it gives like the tragedies, because I think it's really interesting, and it gives like different speeches and stuff, and how people felt during that time, and I really like that one.
Okay. Was this a book you were reading?
That was reading. Yeah, Mr. Popper's Penguins.
But this would have been for English.
English.
And you guys notice I'm asking her about this because I think one of the strengths of this particular curriculum is that it is basically driven. I'm looking for the scheduling book. This level is really written to be used independently. So if you're looking for a curriculum that a kid could follow on their own, with guidance from you, but not something that you have to lecture them through step by step, then I think this worked really well for you, because you did a lot of this on your own. My way of working with them once they get to this age is that, you know, they have the assignments and the readings and the things that they have to do, and they go through them until they get to a place where they want to discuss something more in depth, or they're having a problem. And then that's where I jump in and interact, and then I, you know, look over the work that they've done and things like that. But since we didn't do English and math, which are the two things that my kids tend to want more input on the most, with Heart of Dakota, a lot of this she did on her own. And as she's doing the history, I would say 95% she did on her own. As she's doing the history, there's like a, I guess this is almost kind of like a lap book.
Yeah.
Right? That she's been filling out. They can't read it. This is so well done. And every time I open it, she cringes. I don't know why. You know, like, it's different things that she has to fill out. Sometimes she'll have to go on the computer and do research. And, you know, in the beginning, she would get really frustrated because it would be hard to handwrite and fit everything in the spaces that they gave. But then I showed her how she could type it up and cut it and paste it to the area. And so that took care of that frustration. So she's done this entire book on her own. And there's stuff for her to read to give her even more information about whatever they're trying to get her to hone in on. And all of this is backed up with biblical support also. And so, yeah, she basically did this on her own.
Yeah.
What about this book? Oh, that's your spine, one of your spines. Main text for history.
Yeah, all American history. I didn't really like this book that much.
Why? What don't you like about it? This is a student reader.
It doesn't give enough. It doesn't give enough detail, I feel like.
This says the Civil War to the 21st century. This is volume 2, Uniting America's Story Piece by Piece.
Yeah, I just feel like it doesn't give enough detail. Like the Story of the World book, that other history book, I feel like it gives more detail about the stuff.
So would you say as you were reading this, you wanted even more information?
Yeah.
But you see how the curriculum works. This book is here, but there are other books that you're supposed to be reading at the same time to kind of fill in the spaces. Yeah. And geography. My girls, I don't know how it has happened because I am horrible at geography. But all of my kids are really awesome at geography. And so there are maps that she has to do certain map activities and fill things out for. So this is kind of like an atlas that comes with it. Right? And we did do art. Oh, this was like a mistake on my part. The curriculum calls for this textbook, and this is what I ended up ordering, and it's not the right book or it's not the right edition. It's
not the same author.
It's not even the same author. Maybe it had a similar title. Somehow I messed up and ended up getting this book. But she's ended up, I told her just follow the book itself and not the instructions that are in the art section. And she's ended up doing that for this. Oh, sorry. Ouch. The Law's Guide to Nature Drawing and Journaling. So she draws a lot of, she comes out here in the backyard and draws a lot.
They're not very good.
Yeah. I think they're pretty good. She thinks they're not very good. She's trying to be Picasso or somebody like that. But I thought it was very good. And I thought this was like a nice relaxing thing to add to her day. This was the Becca grammar I mentioned at the beginning. And Wordly Wise. This is an old version of Wordly Wise. I don't think you can get the tests and the answer keys to this anymore. And so, you know, we're going to be using Wordly Wise 3000 because I think that's what there is now. And for Bible, we do community Bible study, which is a national and international ministry that draws denominations together once a week in Bible study, and we follow their curriculum for that. We literally go someplace every Thursday for our Bible study meetings. However, this curriculum does come with Bible, and at first I was going to tell her not to do it at all, but I thought this book was interesting enough that I allowed her to just work through this particular book. I think that more books come with it, but I just had her looking at this book. Who am I?
And what am I
And
doing?
what am I doing here? I mean, just the title alone, I thought was great for a 12-year-old. What did you think about this book? Because when I asked you about this book, you were like,
It's alright. I mean, it's alright. Like, they have stories in there and stuff, and about, like, different, like, I don't know if they're, like, real or not, but they have different stories in there, and it's just kind of, it's alright. And the writer's, like, really dramatic. Like, really dramatic. He's really into it.
And you're really practical, so you gave a lot of the drama a side eye. Yes. So I will say that there's a lot in here that we didn't do. Like,
This.
we didn't do the president study. There's a president study where I guess they studied all the presidents. I mean, that's what I'm guessing. We decided not to do that because we've done that in the past.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, and we have a big, huge, massive president poster in the basement with all the presidents all the way up until Obama, because we did it before Trump became president, and so our girls know enough. So I didn't have enough to do, so I just opted not to do that. And sometimes they have projects, right, in here. I know they have them at Rayma's level. She's my 3rd grader, and we don't do projects, guys. I'm not good with crafts. I'm good with crafts if I'm doing a craft by myself. I'm not good at helping my kids do crafts because I'm a real perfectionist, and it's really hard for me to just leave them alone and let them do what they need to do. So they get all their crafting from community Bible study and other places and other things, and so I've given myself permission not to homeschool crafts. And so if anything, any kind of project that they come up with in these kind of guides, I just don't do them, and so they haven't done any of that. I know that read-alouds have been a big part of what we've done in the past, but my life have not made it possible for me to do read-alouds as much as I have in the past. I do like to do some read-alouds, like we were reading through that the Ancient Civilizations in Africa book before. That was really, really interesting, but we never actually completely finished it. That's something that I'm always striving every year to reincorporate, because that was me back in the day. I was the read aloud queen. Every day at lunchtime I was doing a read aloud, but now I'm usually running off to pick one kid up or drop one kid off for that, or do some kind of errand at lunchtime, and it hasn't worked out well. But I'm still hoping and praying that will happen. So overall, next year we're not going to be using Heart of Dakota for Anika because she's going into the same umbrella school that my 16-year-old is in. Well, she'll be 16 in November. She's 15 now. That's where she'll be going. And so we'll be working that curriculum. I don't think I'm going to be using it with my youngest daughter either. She used, I can't remember, Beyond Little Hearts or something like that. I think that's the name of her curriculum, something like that. It's not that the curriculum wasn't good. I just felt like there wasn't enough in it that made me feel like I had to have it for next year, and I took so much out of it that I wanted to return to something that I know that worked well, that I enjoyed better in the past. And for us, that's Sunlight curriculum. So for next year, I will be returning to Sunlight curriculum because I'll be managing only one child's curriculum completely on my own, which will be Ms. Mocha Baby Rayma. We're going to be doing Sunlight, and I haven't picked which one yet, but that's what we're going to be doing with her because I have so missed using it. I used it for so many years with Caleb, Becca, and Rachel, my oldest three, and I've missed it so much, so I'm trying to go back. Still praying about whether I need to be going back. So we will be leaving Heart of Dakota, but it's not because there's anything wrong with it. I just enjoyed Sunlight better. And so if you guys have any questions, I hope this was helpful. Leave your questions in the comment down below. Did I give you a chance to answer what you thought about it? What would you give it?
Out of what? Like
from 1 to 10, with 10 being great and 1 being horrible and 5 being all right. What would you give it?
Probably a 5.
You give it a 5. I'm not surprised. This is my non-dramatic kid. She'll give it a 5. But I have to say this. She's worked independently all year. It is May 14th, 15th today. She will be done on Thursday. What will Thursday be?
The 17th.
The 17th, she'll be done for the school year, and she did it independently on her own. So if you have a structural child that is self-motivated, that can work well on their own, and you want something they could just pick up and go without doing any prep yourself as a teacher, this worked really well for us. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Be blessed.